What is up? What is up? How are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing, beautiful, amazing day. I want to start off by sharing with you that you are a genius. You are special, you mean the world, and you are loved. Today's topic is an amazing one. It is radical action. Comment below what things come to mind when you think of radical action. The reason I want you to do this, take this challenge, write down right now in the comments and also in your personal life. Before I get into it, I want to know, I want you to discuss with yourself what would be actions that you consider taking radical action now. And the reason I want to do this, well, let's just get into the topic. Let me share with you. So I was living my life kind of haphazardly. I wasn't really sure what was up, what was down. To think or not think was maybe like the coolest, most interesting topic in my life. So fast forward a little bit, I started becoming conscious. Actually, very conscious, where I was living through the heart, which I call that to be 100% consciousness. So moving forward, I was living through the heart, but I didn't have a job. I was still kind of eating whatever nonsense I was eating, and one day to the other, it hit me. There was this audio that I would listen to that really was probably the catalyst, but I know the fuel, the energy for me to complete this, and I'm still in radical action, was my elevating emotion. But the words that really changed my life was stop waiting to do the things you know are good for you. Did you take my challenge? Did you write a couple things or all the list that comes to mind when you think of radical action? The reason I say this, the reason this is such an important topic is because I will bet money you have at least two things, not just one, but two things you could do today that you know you should do. It could be how you spend your time, how you spend your money, about your relationships, about how to communicate better, about your health. I bet there is at least two things. I'm just saying two things that come to mind when you hear radical action. What do I know that I should do? I am 100% sure. And why do I say this? Because humanity, we're not like 8 billion different individual things. We're one. Humanity is one. So that means if in my brain, if in my reality, there is something that I can better, that the chances of another person across the planet, I don't know how many miles away that would be, but literally like on the other side of the planet, I can find a person that is going to have something that they know they can better. Every single person has this. And that's kind of the secret of me, and the way I make my topics is I look at the collective as one. I know there's 8 billion or less, but I look at it as one. And I try to, like Gary Vee, I try to stand corrected. I want to be politically correct in 100 years as I am today. So my bet to you is there something that you know you can change, you can add to your life to make it better? It could be, again, spending time, spending money, communication, health, diet, mental, emotional. I promise you there is something. So then next question, and this question I never asked myself because I started moving in radical action, but what I observed over time was, why do we not do the things we know we should do? Well, I have two answers for you. The two answers are unconscious thoughts are stopping us, and two, we don't have the energy to overcome those. So these two, unconscious thoughts and our emotion, which is the human being form of energy, our energy is emotion. These two things alone is what keep us from doing anything or doing everything. So let's take us back to high school. Well, this is a bad example because for many of us in high school, at least for myself, I can speak from my reality. But again, if I look at the conscious grid, something that happened to me, 99% sure I'm not the only one, right? So that's just so you can feel more comfortable about being yourself, that you're never alone. You're never alone. You have myself which I get naked in front of the camera. I mean, I'm 100% honest. And you have a million other beautiful people that love you, okay? But we just totally got sidetracked. Let me go back to the very bad example. The reason it's a bad example is because for myself, I wasn't conscious yet that I could be conscious. So what does this mean? Well, I've told you that the two reasons that you don't do the things that you know you need to do are because of unconscious thoughts and emotions, which is our energy. Well, in high school, I would like to say that for the majority of us, it's just our emotions. We don't have the energy to go talk to the girl, right? Oh, I feel nervous. Oh, I'm conscious. Or, excuse me. Oh, I feel anxious. Oh, I'm sweaty. You know, all of these, that's a chemical. So our emotions is the reason we don't go do the things we need to do. Our energy is the reasons why I never studied. I didn't study a day in my life in school, I promise you. Hence the results I got, right? But that's a story for another day. Now that we're adults, it is still very much the same thing. We still take our energy and our emotions that control us, but now we have this beautiful CD, if we want to accept to call it beautiful, which I do and you should too. But we have our unconscious thought train, right? It doesn't matter if we're conscious thinkers, 100% conscious, 50%, I mean, it doesn't matter how conscious you are, chances are you're still going to fall under having audible unconscious thoughts. So what does this mean? It's more prevalent, these two facts, that the reason you do or do not do things is because of your energy, which is emotions, and your unconscious thoughts. So back to today. What is and why should we take radical action? Well, the why is already there. Why do you know you should do something? You can call it intuition, you can say you're clairvoyant, or you can just say you're a human being. You have a brain that's amazing, and you have a heart that is 100 times more powerful. You have an unconscious brain, although I make it sound like it's horse ASS and it's very negative. It's very intelligent. I mean, your unconscious, it's like a master computer. We can call it like a quantum computer. It's constantly receiving sound and waves that I'm not conscious of, and I'm staring at a lens right now, but you know, my unconscious, I mean, it knows that all this other things are around me. So it's not that bad. The reason you know what you should eat is because your brain is so amazing. The reason you know that, well, you know, maybe if I spend my money in this way and I start to budget, and every month I put, you know, X amount of money into this envelope, and my rent money in this envelope. The reason we know this, now don't get hopped up and go spend all your money or break up with someone. The reason you know this is because you are a genius. But the reason why we don't do the things is because we're not accessing ourselves. We're not saying, you know what, yeah, I'm going to do it. Whenever the thought is unconscious, it's like smoke. If you're at a fire, and do you care about the smoke or do you care about the fire? You can't do anything about the smoke. The smoke is the end result. Whenever you have the smoke, it's too late. Let's say, for all of our friends that are 420 friendly, what do you care about? Do you care about like the actual greenery? Do you care about the action, or do you care about the end result? You know, like, what do we care about? What's more important in a fire, in a forest fire? Is it the fire or is it the smoke? I mean, if it's a big one, it's kind of both, right? Because if there's a lot of smoke, we can't see and so forth. But it's the fire. You have to be the fire. You have to ignite that fire. Because if you're simply listening to smoke, which is a metaphor that I give to unconscious thoughts, I mean, you're not emotionally attached with it. You don't have to do anything. So how emotionally attached are you to something that you don't create? That's a question that I want you to answer. And I'm going to repeat it again for you because it's very fundamental to your growth. How emotionally attached are you to things you don't consciously do? So now let's relate this to radical action. Let's relate this to our thoughts. Let's say that we do want to go on a eating binge of healthy food. Well, consciously tell yourself you want to do it, and you're going to stand up, show yourself that I'm going to eat better. But I promise, if you just leave it up to your unconscious mind to direct your life and to show you what you should do, Yes, it's going to present amazing ideas, but it's not going to be the fire, the ignition that you need to move in radical action. Radical action means do it now and don't think about it. You got to think about the results like whenever they happen. So whenever I accepted to live radical action, I'll give you my testimony really quick. I started eating spinach every single day. It's been like 3 to 4 years. There's been less than 10 days in this time span that I haven't ate at least a pound of spinach in one day. A whole bunch of water. I'm a vegan. I started sharing how to live through the heart. I have a 9 to 5 job. I have a hour for personal development, an hour for research and development. I read for an hour. I have the gym time. I mean, I work 15 hours a day. Why? I mean, I'm not saying it's not about the money. It's simply because I want to go and get it. You have to move in radical action. Look, if you don't want anything in your life to change, then kudos to you, and you're 100% where you should be. Um, Emotionally, I'm exactly, and like mentally, spiritually, I'm exactly where I want to be. The only thing that is left in my life is go build physically what I carry in here. So what does that mean? I gotta be a monster. I gotta get up every day. I have to be emotionally intelligent. I have to use my imagination. I have to use my third eye. I have to use my electrical brain. I have to use the heart. I have to fuel this body what it fuels off best, which is not negative enzymes. It's positive enzymes from leafy greens, fruits, and so forth. So you're a genius, but start becoming that genius. And you can do that today by picking one thing. Make your list of all the things that you know you should do. Make the full list. Let yourself, if you're doing it unconscious, let your unconscious pour it out because, again, it does know you very well. And pick at least one of those things to work on for the next week to a month, and come back after you complete your challenge and tell me your thoughts. Tell me, how was your journey? Were you emotionally attached because you consciously decided to do it? And also tell me what more things you're going to start doing. Also comment below, what are things that you should do? And also comment below what topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. I hope to see you in the side of light. Goodbye.